Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to be practicing more fraction division, but this time we're going to start incorporating mixed fractions and how to deal with them. Let's take a look at this first problem. 1/2 divided by 1/3. Let's just start by flipping the second fraction to make it a multiplication problem. So we can just write 1/2 times 3/1. These are equivalent. And then now we can multiply since there's nothing to simplify. So 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 1 is 2. And then we can simplify this back to a mixed fraction. So it's 1 and 1/2. Now let's look at the next problem. 1/2 divided by 2/3. So let's first change it into a multiplication problem. 1/2 times 3/2. Again, since there's nothing to simplify, we can just multiply across. 3/4. That's our answer, 3/4. Now, our next problem is 2/5 divided by 5/7. So let's, again, change it into a multiplication problem. So 2/5 times 7/5. And now, since there's nothing to simplify, let's just multiply across 14/25. And that is our answer. Now, let's take a look at the next problem. 2/3 divided by 2/5. That's the same thing as saying 2/3 times 5/2. Now, here we can simplify the 2's. So change them both to 1. And then multiply across is 5/3. And that can be further brought down to, or changed into 1 and 2/5. Next problem, 3/4 divided by 7/8 is the same thing as 3/4 times 8/7. Simplify the 4 and the 8, so this becomes 2 and 1. 3 and 7 can't be simplified, so now we just multiply across. 6/7. That's our answer. Next problem, 1 and 1/2 divided by 1/2. First step is to change the mixed fraction into an improper form. So this is 3/2 divided by 1/2, which equals 3/2 times 2/1. And then when we simplify this, 2 and 2, that becomes 1 and 1. Now we have 3 times 1 over 1 times 1, which is just 3. So notice how we first changed it to an improper form, and then we flipped it. Yes, so that's how to, because if your second number, such as in this problem, if your second number is a mixed fraction, you can't flip it until you've converted both to improper form. Alright, next problem, 1 and 1/2 divided by 1/4, which is the same thing as 3/2 divided by 1/4, which is 3/2 times 4/1. Now we can simplify 2 and 1, and then multiply across, we get 6/1, which is just 6. Next problem, 1 and 1/2 divided by 2 and 1/3. So that's 3/2 divided by 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7, 7/3. Now we can flip. And after we flip, we can't seem to simplify anything. So let's just multiply across. That's 9/14. And that's our answer. Next problem, 1 and 1/2 divided by 2 and 2/3, which is 3/2 divided by 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2 is 8, 8/3. That's equal to 3/2 times 3/8. Again, we can't simplify, so the answer to this is just 9/16. Next problem, 1 and 2/3 divided by 5. So that's the same thing as 5/3 divided by 5, which is equal to 5/3 times 1/5, because this is the same thing as 5/1. And now since we can simplify here, our final answer is just 1/3. And the last problem, 5 divided by 2 and 1/2, it's the same thing as 5 over 1 divided by 5 over 2, because we convert this to improper form. And that equals 5 over 1 times 2 over 5. And then we can simplify this, 1 and 1. So with that, we get our final answer is just 2. That's all for our practice for dividing fractions today. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.